Hello, my friends. Hello. So today's live stream is just going to be with me today because Carrie is bringing her son to a medical appointment. So hello. So excited to share with you about my Abraham experience. If you have ever been to an Abraham workshop, let me know in the comments. Hi, Guillaume. And if you have any questions about going to an Abraham event, let me know. I'm already planning my next one, but I'll give you some background. I have been aware of and listening to Abraham Hicks for probably 20 years. Not like every day for 20 years, but off and on. And I remember getting their book. I think it was Ask and It Is Given. And I listened to the audiobook version of that on my way to Ireland when I was like 24. So I had a really long flight. I was listening to that book. So that was nearly 20 years ago already. But I've known about them far longer. What I really like about Abraham Hicks stuff is they're so gentle. It's always really affirming and resonating and validating. I always knew what they're talking about growing up, and it was one of the first times I'd ever heard someone talk about it. And I really like the idea of surrounding myself with positive reinforcements, right? Like repetition of knowing how the universe works really works. It works for me because it's not like I do a lot of science, like I'm in a science field now for graduate school, and science responds to what it can measure. And you can't really measure the law of attraction with the tools we have right now. And so most of my day is spent looking at things that aren't validating of the law of attraction, although everything is, people just don't realize it. And so having a abundance of media to go to, like the Abraham Hicks clips on YouTube, their audio books, their meditations, has been really helpful for me over the years. Okay. So what about you? Are you into it? Do you listen? And what questions do you have? So I will say that I saw them in Phoenix, Arizona. I bought two things. I bought this journal right here, and I bought another journal that says life is supposed to be fun. These were only $10, and they came with a pen. And it was really nice for me to take some notes while I was there listening. So that was really wonderful. They also had CDs available, and their oracle cards, which I've never used, and their books. I was hoping they'd have sweatshirts and hats and stuff, but not the case. I started feeling the energy the night before. So I flew in a day ahead of time so that just in case my flight got canceled, I wouldn't miss the event. And when I was going to sleep the night before, I decided I really wanted to meditate. And so I meditated. But even before I meditated, I was feeling a connection to the event, and I was feeling the positive energy. And it was really cool. It felt so heart-opening and so loving. And then I had a conversation sort of while I was meditating, with the Abraham energy, because everyone can, just like everyone can talk to Intimate Alien as well. And so that was cool. And I was thinking about what question do I want to ask? I went out to dinner with my friend earlier in the evening, and I was asking them, what do you think I should ask? And we came up with a question, but I didn't really need to know what that answer was, because it would have been in the future anyway. So I was talking with Abraham. Sorry, I'm feeling like I have Invisalign, right? I'm just feeling like so spitty today. I'm very sorry. Hopefully you cannot see that. But that is why I keep stopping. um so I was talking things through with Abraham and realizing that I really just don't have a question. Like I just feel so complete. And if I ever have a question, I'll ask Intimate Alien, my higher self. I'll ask Abraham. I don't really go without answers. Um, so anyway, I felt incredibly aligned. And my game plan for the next day was to hopefully go early when the doors open, get a good seat, and then go about my day and then go back, because the doors opened at 10:30 and the event started at 1 p.m. And I know I didn't want to sit there the whole time. So luckily they give you a wristband when you check in. You can leave something on your seat, like your sweatshirt or whatever, and then leave and go back. That was awesome. And so if you ever go to one, just know that. So yeah. All right. Guillaume has never been to an Abraham, but he knows people who went to one in Holland. That's awesome. Yeah, I love how they travel all over the place. Would you all ever do one of their cruises? If I was ever going to get on a cruise, it would be for them. But I don't think I would ever do a cruise because I don't like the feeling of not being able to leave. I really need an exit plan wherever I am. So that would be a little challenging for me. So getting to the event, having them start was really exhilarating because I don't really get starstruck. I don't have like a celebrity crush. I'm not like super into anyone, everyone's sort of an equal. But Esther coming out on stage, like it was a really cool moment. Seeing her, she looks exactly like you would think, like she looks like online. She sounds the same. She says the same thing. She's like kind of funny in the beginning. And then she pretty immediately gets Abraham. She is not really a part of the whole thing. Like, I feel like she wants to be a private person. And Abraham is the one who's always like talking about her, which obviously she's fine with. But even at the end, she said goodbye and felt, she took in all the applause, but that was about it. And then she left. So I feel like that's a cool thing, especially with me thinking about touring with Intimate Alien. Like I get to ask myself, like, how much do I really want to be involved? Do I want to do a show with just Intimate Alien where I'm like in the background? Do I want to involve myself in the beginning, let's say, or the end? Those are things I think about all the time. Since I'm used to being with people, and like leading events and stuff, I always assumed Intimate Alien and I would kind of like share. But I have done an event with just her where people are just showing up to see her. That's the only thing that we do is I just channel her. And that was really fun too. So if you would like Intimate Alien to come around to your city, let me know because we're starting to organize stuff like that, which is really exciting to me. She's also available to do virtual events. So if you have a class, a group, a community that you want Intimate Alien to speak at, reach out to me and let me know. I'm very excited. Okay, so spoiler alert, I did not get called up. I did not get picked. And even though I didn't have a question, at the beginning of the event, I was like, I don't have a question, but I'm here, right? So I may as well raise my hand a couple times to see if I could chat with Abraham, because that would be really cool. One thing I did not realize, you guys, is that the hot seat is on the stage. I didn't realize the hot seat was on the stage. So you are like a foot or two away from Esther channeling Abraham, which is really neat. And I sort of didn't want to pass that up if I could. And so Abraham was talking in the beginning about, whatever they were talking about. I don't even remember. They were going on a little monologue, which was very wonderful, and I really resonated with it. I probably wrote it down, but it's nothing new. We've all heard everything before. But from the topics that were coming up from Abraham and from the other people, I would have a little bit of a question or like a talking point. So when I did raise my hand, I knew what I was going to ask about. And anytime I had formulated a question, they would answer it. So I didn't really need to get up there. And I wasn't like, my desire wasn't really there either. Like I wasn't dying to get up there. There wasn't anything I really needed their input on. So I'm really glad how it turned out. I did get a really good seat. I was in the third row in the middle section. So I was right there. I don't think it would have mattered if you were in the back. There were probably only like 300 people there. So it was that was smaller than I thought it would be. So that was cool too. Yeah. So what did I take away from it? The biggest things that I took away from the event, one of them was a story that they told about Esther and how Esther was asking herself, like, why am I selling a house that I've only been in a year? Why am I buying another apartment when I already have one? Like, she was doubting herself and wondering why she was making life more complicated than it needed to be. And Abraham was then telling her, like, because it's fun. It's fun to sell a house and get a new one. It's fun to buy an apartment. It's fun to be in life. And if there was one question that I was going to ask that I felt sort of like an insecurity in myself about and really wanted to hear from them, it would have been like, why do I put so much on my plate sometimes? And so that answered it for me, their story, which made me feel great. Like, why am I going to school? And why am I starting a new business? And why am I doing all these other things? Like, oh, because it's fun. It's so much fun to be in life. And that is the honest truth. So I walked away feeling more confident, more aligned. I feel like I have been flying high ever since. And I also learned something super funny. Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, I love a shirt that says Mystic. That's cool. This one is from my old track days. This is from when I was like 12 years old, which is so fun that it's even still big on me now. Oh my God, this is 30 years old this year. Wow. I did not wear it for a really long time, which is why it looks how it does. So here's a funny thing. Let me know if you can relate to this. Okay. Sometimes I get really passionate about things and, riled up. And Carrie is like, she loves it when that happens to me. She thinks it's so funny and like in a good way, and she encourages me to like do something with that energy. But when I get passionate, I feel like it's a step backward. It feels off to me. Like I don't like that energy of passion. And I was questioning myself about that a few weeks ago. Like, if I'm passionate, that probably means like I need to do something with that, and I need to take a stand, and I need to be an activist, and I need to, like I was thinking that me backing away from passion was a bad thing. That's what I was thinking. And then everyone got this emotional guidance scale little postcard, and on the other side it was like how to order the event recordings, which I did order, by the way. And I've known about the emotional guidance scale for so long. It's in the back of all their books. Like but I've never actually looked at it. And you know what's so funny is number one, joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. And then number two is passion. So when I feel passionate, I've actually gone down a step. That's why I don't feel as good. And that is why I don't really like feeling passionate, is because usually I'm in joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation, which means I'm usually in number one. And then for me, passion is going backwards. Where for someone else, passion might be a step up, right? So I just got so much out of this event. It was only 4 hours in total. There were two 25-minute breaks, which was actually really nice. At first, I thought 25 minutes is a really long time, you know, and that's taking almost an hour out of this 4-hour event. It was $225 for a ticket, which I thought was like, oh, that's kind of expensive. But to be honest, it was all perfect. I really enjoyed the breaks. Gave you an opportunity to like go outside, get some fresh air, have a snack, even order something from, there was a little like bistro in the hotel and you could order stuff in that amount of time. And people came up to me and were talking to me. So it really worked out. It was absolutely perfect. The price was wonderful. I'm happy to pay it. And yeah, like the staff was amazing. The products were not overpriced, you know, like it was really wonderful. It's what you would expect from such a high vibe speaker channel event, you know? So I have no complaints, and I have honestly been feeling so wonderful ever since. And I just keep reminding myself to find the lightness. Like, so this is going back to before the event. A couple weeks ago, I was walking into my laundry room and I was just sort of hit with this clarity of like, oh, I can feel the difference when I'm truly in, I'll say the fifth dimension. Like when I'm truly in my vortex, as I would say, when I'm truly in the fifth dimension, when I'm truly aligned with ease, I feel like I'm in a different version of life. Like it's so much lighter. It's so much lighter. It feels like there's no bottom and you're just kind of floating. It doesn't feel spaced out though. It doesn't feel ungrounded. It just feels so much lighter. And I've had that experience a lot since the event. Like it's so easy now for me to be like, oh, go back into the lightness, go into the lightness. Ah, here we are. Okay, now I'm aligned. Now I'm at ease. And wonderful things have been happening, of course. So I feel like even leading up to the event, I don't know if it was because I was going to the event or not, but I feel like everything always is a synchronicity, right? I let my vibration do the work. So I let my vibration choose the trip. So yeah, I would highly recommend going if you have the opportunity and if it's an easy drive. I'm going to be going to an event on the East Coast more than likely in a few months. They're traveling right now, so maybe go. I would, you know, I never really felt like I wanted to go previously because I don't really like crowds. I don't really like meeting new people. I love people. But I I don't usually enjoy the anxiety of meeting new people. But it was just very easy, you know? And I didn't need to get anything out of it, so I got everything out of it. You know, I didn't go in with desperation. I just went in open and I got so much more than I thought I could have. So yeah, I would highly recommend going with just an openness, right? Like don't feel like you can only get, you know, your money's worth if you get called up into the hot seat. I don't think that's true at all. it was just great to be in the room. You know, it was great to feel the energy. Everyone felt so good. Everyone was like smiling so big. All right. Well, I've been talking for 20 minutes now. What about you? Do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions about Abraham? Do you have any questions in general about anything else? I have my cards here if you have a question. Let's see. Did going to an Abraham event make me more outgoing? No, it didn't. But it did give me more, I think. So somebody came up to me and was like, I want to talk to you because you have green hair. And it was a younger woman. And we just sort of instantly started talking about like deeper things. Like she was talking to me about a guy she was sort of dating and like how they're so different. And I was telling her about how like my partner and I are very different. And we like immediately got into a conversation that was actually interesting. And I felt very centered in it. I didn't get thrown off by like someone talking to me. So that was a good step. I also was a little bit, now I've traveled like the world by myself, basically, not everywhere, but I've been a lot of places alone, and I don't feel anxiety about traveling alone or camping alone or hiking alone. I love doing things alone, but I wasn't super excited to walk around downtown Phoenix alone. I just wasn't, I was feeling a little off about it, a little weird about it. But then walking to and from the event, I actually felt fine. So there's definitely something to be said about participating in high vibe things that brings you up to that level where you're performing at your best. You're not letting anxiety in, you know? So that's kind of cool. But in our last 8 minutes, I'm just going to do a reading for you. All right. So let's see, like, what is the most beneficial thing for you to focus on over the rest of March? That is what we'll ask. And we'll do one card at a time here so that I can hold them up for you. Intuition. So something that's been happening for me lately as well is in this lightness that I keep aligning to, I'm just doing one thing at a time. I'm staying present to one thing at a time. And it has lessened my feeling of overwhelm by a gazillion. I'll say that. Card number 2. Love. What are you doing, and do you love it? Do you love what you are doing? And can you incorporate more love into your day? It was so worthwhile. Maybe I can put these here. I feel like we have 2 more. All right. Truth. I had to make sure it wasn't another gray. Truth. You are what you love. And you are who you think you are deep down. That's another thing I got out of the event, is like really reinforcing that you are a magnificent being, and the things you want are yours. So important to know. Go with the motherfucking flow. So go with the flow. Like, the path is already there. Use your intuition to line up with it. Take one step at a time, and don't worry if you feel like you're going in a squiggly line, because you are, but that's by design. You know, your intuition, if you are aligned with a possibility of things being easy and fun and joyful and loving, you're going to go on the path of most enjoyment through life. And that's going to look a lot like this. So there is your reading for March. And let's see, we have a comment. I used to think being active in life was the best of it, but passion can be exhausting sometimes, have a draining effect. So it makes sense it's not number one. Yeah, I think we all just need to do what feels best to us. Like passion comes with a lot of energy in the beginning. And so it can be a very inspiring thing, like if someone has been more, let's say, in frustration or even just contentment, having a passionate thought can feel good. But for me, it is too much. It's like that idea of, the bright light burning fast or something like that. So yeah, you just find what works best for you and go for that. And it's not, I guess I don't feel lazy, but it's not laziness to be in joy and knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation, right? You are always moving forward. And, for me, I have most people, we all have a lot going on, right? I just like to imagine that my higher self is keeping all of my plates spinning, right? I don't have to actively be working on every single thing in every single day because my higher self is creating the momentum and moving everything forward for me, right? It's lining things up. It's getting resources. It's like coordinating with other people's higher selves and getting them on board. So it doesn't matter how much or how little action I take, as long as I'm aligned with my truth and everything working out, everything's getting done. And I can say that is so true when I look back at my life, because I am sort of a putterer. Like I'm really focused on one thing for a little bit of time usually, and then I'm on to the next, and I'll go back to things once in a while. But when I have a lot of projects going on, it seems like I'm not making a lot of progress on anything. And then all of a sudden, like everything is done at once and everything kind of pops. And that's a great feeling. And it definitely feels like I get more done than the effort that I put in, because again, I'm just doing what I want. I'm just following the flow. I'm just poking my head in here and there. And, but things get done. So hallelujah. Well, this has been fun. You guys are really wonderful. I hope you have an amazing weekend. If you would like to join the channel and get my super secret extra video on Saturdays, you can join at the Galaxy Pal level and you'll get that video. You can join at the button below. It says join. And if you click join, it's not like charging you right there. You get to watch a little video of me explaining what joining means and what the levels are. So don't be afraid to click that button and learn more. And thank you. I really enjoy these live streams. Thanks for putting up with just me today. And I will see you. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you next week if I don't see you on Saturday. All right, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much.